Hi, today I'm looking at a Skoda Superb, so it's probably similar to a Volkswagen or Audi or Seat. This car has got a problem with a whole bunch of lights coming on the dash, so I've done a code read, haven't done any diags yet. Usually I like to know what it is and just show you what I found to keep it a short video, abbreviated. This time I've not done that. I'll just show you the codes. They're all pointing towards an ABS fault though, because other modules are saying there's no comms to the ABS, or they call it the brake control module on this, but it's the ABS. And I've got that as an active or static fault, so it's there now. In several other modules, I'm struggling to speak today. I've just got a bit of a sore throat, not been feeling great lately. So I'll see how I get on with this, and I'll show you what the scan tool's showing me. This is what I'm talking about, the brake control module, no signal, and we get that in a few different modules, like the gateway. We've got it in, what's the bottom one, the power steering, missing messages in the instrument cluster. The airbag's got the brake control module, no signal communication, and again in the electronic central electric, that would be a body control module. So we're getting it again and again. All these things seem to be down to the same thing, no comms to the ABS. So if I exit this, I bet I don't even see ABS here, because it couldn't find it, you see, so I doubt it would be here. I don't know if you can see this. We don't see it. So we come out of that. Control module, control unit, brakes 1, and let's see what's in here. It'll say no comms. I'm expecting it to. There we go. Oh gosh, I'm hitting the wrong thing. He also said that the fuel gauge didn't work properly, but at the minute I'm going to track down the ABS, see why there's no comms to it, since that's the fault we've got. I've looked up a wiring diagram to see which fuses I need to check and where the powers and the ground is at the ABS module and the CAN wires. I've also checked the fuses, the relevant ones. There's one here, which is okay, and there's 2 at the battery, near the battery. I've checked them all as well, just in case my wiring diagram's not showing something. But they're all okay, there's no blown fuses. So I think the next thing, I'm going to have to go straight to the ABS module and do some checks there. The colours don't match the pin numbers that I was looking at in the wiring diagram. I know I got it disconnected, but 1 seems to be here, where my thumb is, because that's got a 2 right next to it there. I think that says 17. I'm not sure, I can't quite tell. I'll need to get my reading glasses on. Okay. But those 2, the red and white, and red and yellow, are large power cables. So what I'm going to do, I've got the ground, there's only one ground. So what I'm going to do is go into both of those using some leads that I've got from this kit, ASC Wave. So I'm going to use that, and the headlight bulb has a H7, and I'm going to check, because obviously those wires are big. It's going to need to be carrying some sort of current. Let's see if I plug into them. I've got the black lead here going into the power, so I'm kind of going the wrong way round, but test light is lighting. I'll go into the one next to it. Test light's lighting, or the headlight is lighting, so I'm happy. They're okay. I've checked the powers and the grounds there. all in one go. Now I've got the small, see this one, black with a yellow. I think that must be an ignition one, so I'm not going to run that for a headlight because it was only 5 amp, that fuse. I'm going to check that one's working with the ignition on for a bulb, but a lower wattage bulb. I'm going to use this bulb that I made up for that. I watched Pine Hollow and realised I need something with different load settings, so I just bought this and bought some ends off eBay so I can stack them, or I could get a voltage check at the same time if I wanted, but I can load test it because it wasn't easy to get to these wires where it is, so I'm just front probing it instead of back probing in situ, which is always better to do that. I've already disturbed something by disconnecting it. So we know that fuse is okay for the black and the yellow wire. Now I'm just going to see if I'm getting power to this. Pinned into the black and yellow, it's not the same number that it says, or it doesn't look like it is, the pin location, but it does light up with the ignition. Can also, if I wanted, because we're using these stackable ends, if we wanted, we could check the actual voltage. Remember, the battery's down a bit, so 11.3, but at the battery we've got 11.6, so that's okay. That's a 21 watt bulb. You've got the option of going for the 5 watt as well, because it's a stop and tail light. Next I'm going into the CAN bus. Remember the orange wires? I don't know if I told you earlier, but one was orange and one was orange and brown. What was the other one? Orange and black, orange and brown, I think. So I'm into those. I just picked one at random. So you see where they go in. It's not all of these pins have a wire at the other end of it, so some are empty spaces. So I just picked one of them, and it looks like that one, using this Unity, trying to see that, UT81B. Now this isn't the best for CAN bus, but you can see something's going on. So we're getting CAN bus down the line, and then I can go to the one next to it. Looking at that, it's CAN low. I'll try and bring this down a bit so you can see it better. You see it's at the bottom of the line there. It isn't 0, that's going to be the halfway line at 2.5, so we'll be going down to about 1.5 there. And I'm going to go into the one next to it here. I'm just not feeling great today, so I don't know what sort of video this will make. Might help if I let you see what I'm doing there. Now we're in the CAN high. You see how it's going above the line? Again, not the best for seeing CAN bus compared to a scope. It's just a graphing meter. But I'll pick up the time a bit, put more time on, and we sort of see a bit more going on. There you go. You can see something there. When I brought the time down to a quicker time, it was missing a lot. So anyway, we're getting CAN bus down both wires. So it does look like we've got the power, 2 powers to the ground. So that's all the powers and the ground, and we've got the switch on power, which was the black with the yellow wire. We've got a CAN high and CAN low. It'll be interesting to see what happens. If I plug it in, what would happen to those wires? So I could back probe one of those orange wires and plug it in and see if that changes. Oh, I've just lost it, but it's just timed out, you see there? It's just timed out, so we're okay. It's because the ignition's on. Where's the ignition on? I've not even got the ignition on, it was just because I had the ignition on earlier. So eventually it's timed out, and that's what we've seen there. So we know we've got CAN bus and everything to the module. If it's not got communication, then it has to be a faulty module. Another thing I could do if I wanted is to try and pin, it might be awkward because of where it is, but if I go into the red wires and the yellow and black wire, black and yellow wire, and the ground, the brown wire, but put wires out of that test kit. I could put them straight into the module, and forget this, put them straight into the module and connect them ground and power, and see do we have any CAN bus coming out of that, out of the module, without using the car. That would mean the car is not able to talk back. It's getting a signal but it can't talk back. Another thing I'd like to show you is if you're using this as the graphing function, it could give you some sort of idea something's going on the CAN bus line, but it's not enough to really know. Sometimes you can see something better than that. I'll try putting the ignition on. Yeah, it's not enough to condemn. I wouldn't be condemning ABS module based on that. I'd want to see something with more detail than that before I'm telling somebody they need an ABS module. Even the graphing meter, it's enough. For this, I could see something. That idea I said about back probing, not back probing, going on the actual wires of the module and connecting them to the power and the ground, and it's too awkward where it is. I'm not even going to attempt. I would be struggling and using a mirror to get them on. I'm not going to attempt it. But that was basically as far as I can go. We've got everything we want to see. Yeah, I'm happy to say they need an ABS module. Hopefully this is helpful to somebody. I think all the other faults, engine light, all those things, are all on because it has no communication with this. So we need to fix that first. There's no comms to it. We need to get this sent away, get it to come back with a guarantee, and should be good to go. What I'm doing now is same as before, one more test, because I can't get into it like I was planning. But what I think I'll do is plug that in whilst I'm back probed on one of the CAN bus wires and see if that signal changes. Will be a bit of a pain, so I'll maybe just put my phone down whilst I try and put it in. Okay, I'm going to push down on this locking tab and see if that changes. If I get that in. It didn't really change, did it? So, I'm not surprised really though. Not surprised it didn't change because we didn't have a corruption that was going around everything else and stopping other modules working properly. We only had no communication to one module. So that's why, if that was going to change the signal drastically when I plugged it in, that would explain other modules having problems that only have the problem when that's plugged in, and when it's disconnected it would just be a no comm. This wasn't that, it was just a no comm, so that explains why we didn't get a change in the signal. Like I say, a Pico or a different scope would have showed it in far more detail. This is just a cheap graphing meter that makes it kind of affordable for some people to do stuff and start getting into diagnostics. Or for me, I just keep it on the van all the time, and I don't always carry the Pico with me, so I don't always need it, and this is one of those occasions that this has done the job fine with this. Hopefully this has all been helpful to somebody diagnosing the no comms, all the faults on the dash, the airbag, what was the other one, the engine light, and they did say there's a fault with the fuel gauge, which I wouldn't say. It would be down to that, unless at times it caused a corruption in the, maybe at times it did cause a corruption in the signal, and that's why the fuel gauge may not be working at times. I don't know, but all I know at the moment is we definitely need the module sending away and repair him. So if they're happy to do that, the guy's got it at a garage, the customer, I mean, has got this at a garage. I'm only here to see why it's not working. Oddly enough, there was no ABS light all the time, so they were ignoring the ABS fault, but all the evidence was pointing towards it. Hopefully this is helpful to somebody. Thanks for watching. The guy said it's only happened since the taxi light was fitted. Now, I'm going to say it's nothing to do with that, and it's coincidental. Because... Why? Because it seems to be faulty anyway. It's not, I can't see this doing it. If this is what they've put in there, it's nothing to do with that. So, I can't see it anyway. I've got a grand there, it's just that it's got a bit of red wire. I was wondering why that's there, but I take it whoever fitted it, that's all they do, so they'll know what they're doing, and they fit these sort of accessories. I don't fit aftermarket stuff generally, I try to avoid it. I just do the repairs when stuff doesn't work. In this case it's not, because I don't see it's for that. It's going up to the taxi thing up there. I don't think it's anything to do with that. I've checked the ABS module. It should be talking to it and it isn't. So yeah, what's this? CAN bus interface. I don't know what's going on with that. It might be one last check I could do is try and remove that, take the fuse out and see if I can speak to the ABS module. I'll maybe try that quick. If that's going to here, that fuse there, I'll take that out, connect it back up down there and see if I can now speak to it. One more thing, a little bit of bonus footage. I've disconnected this. I'm going to put it back in a second. Let's see if that does make a difference. I can get into the car. Right. Let's see now. I'm going to do a quick erase. Can't see it changing anything. Still got the aircon fault, that fault, all the same faults are there. I'll give it time to do the quick erase. You can see it there. Report. I think we're still going to have no comms with that. Yeah. No communication, all the same things. So it's nothing to do with that. That just proves that the guy did say about this cigarette lighter doesn't charge. When I put that little light bulb in that I had before, that I was showing you, not the big headlight bulb, but the 21 watt bulb, I had 0.3 of a volt on the ground side of this, and when I checked it, there's one in the back of the car. When I checked the one at the back, it was only 0.1 of a volt, but the power side was the same on both sides, so there is a slight difference on the ground of this one. But he only wanted a rough idea what's going on. I'm not here to repair, so I could advise slightly higher ground on that. That might be critical to his charger for the phone. It doesn't charge the battery, it just remains. He can keep the phone on all day, but it doesn't put any more charge in it. Whereas if he's plugged it in the back one, it does charge whilst he's got the phone on. So maybe the only thing I can see there is the ground is slightly higher when I load tested it with the 21 watt bulb. But that's just a little extra that he asked me to look at. So thanks for watching.